The word shibori refers to one way textiles are embellished in Japan when they're dyed. The cloth is folded into various shapes and secured with string or rubber bands before being lowered into the dye. The word shibori actually comes from the word shiboru, which means to wring or press. The dye most frequently used in the shibori technique is called indigo. Indigo is a very ancient dye which can be traced back to the 3rd millennium BCE. One ancient example of indigo use is seen in the blue stripes found on the borders of Egyptian mummy cloths. And indigo dye is used to make blue jeans blue. Experiment with indigo dyeing and then share all the various patterns with class members to make a wall piece that's visually striking and full of history. Mix the indigo dye the night before using the included instructions in the kit. Remove the flour right before dyeing. Be sure to pre-soak your fabric also before dyeing. Fold, bunch, or roll the muslin, securing it with bands, blocks, or clips where desired. I'm going to use a bandana today. Be sure to make a tight bundle to dye. If the fabric is too loosely secured, it will turn out mostly blue. You can also cut the fabric into 2 pieces to try 2 different methods of folding. Now, you're going to gently lower the muslin into the dye bucket, being careful not to add air to the solution. I'm going to put some gloves on so the dye doesn't get on my hands. Gently lower the muslin, bandana, or your t-shirt into the dye bucket, being careful not to add air to the solution. Squeeze as much dye out of the bundle as possible and remove it from the bucket. As the fabric is exposed to oxygen in the air, it will begin to turn blue. Expose it to the air for about 20 minutes. Be sure to use gloves, again, to keep the dye off of your hands. Remove all bands and clips from the muslin. Rinse the fabric thoroughly with water and allow it to dry by either hanging or laying it flat on covered tables. Share various patterns of fabrics to create each individual wall piece. I've made some samples here. You're going to cover 4 6x6 poster board squares with varying patterns by gluing the sides to the back. Glue opposite sides first. Before covering my old CDs, I'm going to embellish my shibori pattern with some embroidery floss. Now I'm going to cover 4 circles with fabric. Assemble the 4 squares and 4 circles on the table and arrange them to show the contrast of color and design. Glue them to a white background for display. For all the shibori materials, a PDF, and teaching standards, visit dickblick.com/lessonplans.